Hi guys, Radhika here again. So today I wanted to talk about narcissists in the workplace. So someone had asked this question that as an empath, how can you survive in a workplace where there are a lot of narcissists? Or maybe your boss is a narcissist, or the team that you're working in is a narcissistic team. They show narcissistic behavior. So yeah, it's a bad situation to be in. I mean, as it's anywhere, around a narcissist, it's not going to be a good situation. So yeah, it's tricky, and actually, what happens is, I mean, I'm an engineer, so I have worked in a university and I have worked in software companies. So those are the work experience that I have, and I can definitely say that working in a university is much better than working in a corporate environment. At least that was my experience, and I have worked in a few offices, and I have always noticed that there are narcissists in corporate environments. Like corporate environments do they are very like good, what do you say, playing grounds for narcissists, okay? Because they are structured this way, okay? They are structured in rank, they are structured in, if you have merit, you will be, like you will be celebrated, and it's a place where everyone has to prove themselves to climb the corporate ladder. So yeah, it is a playground for narcissists, and especially if that is the culture that is promoted in the company that you are at, if it promotes a culture of competition, if it promotes a culture of aggression where you have to make your point heard, and where a person who is aggressive is celebrated more than a team player. Um, and this comes top down, right? How narcissists breed narcissists generation over generation. I think in the same way, in the corporate culture, narcissist bosses, they breed narcissistic employees. They will make their employees aggressive. Like, I can tell you this from my experience, because my first boss, she told me that I lack confidence because I was not as aggressive as she would want me to be. And it's just not in my nature to like push my point, shove my point down someone's throat. If I feel like if I have said it and if they don't get it, then they don't get it. I don't have to make it an agenda to push it down their throats. But she was of that opinion that you have to be that way. And so she associated me not doing that with me having low confidence. Although that wasn't the case, it was just that I had a different personality than her. But at the time, I was very young and it was my first job. So even I was thinking, oh, do I lack confidence? Do I really lack confidence? So yeah, that's what narcissists will do. So yeah, actually, unconscious businesses, they promote more of this. But the office that I work in now is super friendly. They are team players and they encourage a culture of collaboration over a culture of competition. So I think if I'm not saying all corporates are like that. I'm saying that there is a chance for corporates to be like that, more of a chance, because it's the kind of an environment that a narcissist likes, where there is inequality in rank, in pay structure, in responsibility or power control. So yeah, a narcissist would like that. But there are some conscious businesses too, which promote collaboration and teamwork over someone who's overly aggressive and trying to get control. Yeah, and then in such scenarios, you would always almost find that if the boss is a narcissistic boss, there will be a group of like, what do you say, like yes men around such a boss, okay? and these guys are mostly codependents and wannabe narcs. So they are narcissists, but they don't have the confidence to be narcissists. So they become codependents, and they keep on like depending on narcissistic supply that the boss gets. They feel like, it's like how in movies they show a main bully, and behind the bully there are all these small bullies, and the small bullies are actually a little powerless. But if the big bully is bullying someone, then these small bullies feel really powerful and they start bullying too. So it's kind of like that. So yeah, basically these are bullies that never grow up. They don't understand how to process emotion in a healthy way so that they can grow not just in age but in wisdom. So they don't know how, they haven't grown basically. And if you are an empath and you are around them and you have grown a little bit in your soul level, how to, you have realized how to deal with emotion in your emotional body. So basically you need to understand that you are mature, more mature than they are. So you will very often feel like you are like a kindergarten teacher and you are amongst kindergarten children, but the children think that they are also as grown up as the teacher. But in your mind, if you know that they are not as grown up, it will help you because you will not self doubt. Okay, because narcissists can induce that in you. They can induce self doubt, especially in a workplace environment where your progress is depending on the narcissist, and where every like I'm talking about like a software corporate environment where you are evaluated maybe every quarter or annual evaluation, and people, you get a 360-degree feedback from everyone around you of how you have been performing in your duties. And if you have a narcissistic environment, and if you're not as vocal or not as aggressive, you might have some narcissistic people saying that they might be judging you on the aggression criteria, and they'll feel that you are weak in it because you are not as aggressive. But that doesn't mean you're weak, it just means you're different. You are not as aggressive as they are, and nothing is good or bad, it's just the way you are. And actually, by corporate structures, to get a good team, you need a good mix of people. You cannot have a team in which everyone is aggressive. You need to have a person who's aggressive. You also need to have someone who balances the team. You need to have different perspectives in order to make the best decision. But yeah, that's the ideal case. So here are some tips that I can give you of how you can deal with the situation. So one is what you're already doing. You're kind of researching about narcissism, understanding how it works, understanding that it's a mental disorder. So people who are doing these things to you, they don't actually have something against you as a human being. They have something against everyone. If it was someone else in your position, they might have found some other disadvantages or other faults in that person. So it's their attitude, it's not about you, it's about them. It's like something is lacking in them, which they don't realize it's lacking inside. They go placing blame on different things in the outside environment. They will say this person did this, that person did that. So they are not taking responsibility of the way they feel about themselves. They want to place it on others. So yeah, you can know what you're up against. You're up against maybe a narcissistic boss or a narcissistic team. And once you know that, you will stop doubting yourself. You will stop questioning yourself or your ability. And you will look for like ways to deal with it. So what do you do? What is the next decision that you make? Okay, second point is keep a professional outlook. I know, like, sometimes we expect to find good relationships in work or a good team, or develop deep bonds at work. Sometimes it's possible, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm also a little bit guarded in an office kind of an environment to disclose too much of my private life. I keep it professional. That's just me. I don't like to discuss too much unless I feel safe enough to do so. So maybe you test out a team for 6 months, and then after 6 months, when you feel that, okay, now I kind of know how everyone in the team is, then if you want to share some information, you can go ahead and share it. But yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is keep it professional. If it's professional, keep it professional. Don't get personal life involved in it, because it can become a problem. Like in my first job, my boss used to ask me a lot of personal things in my one on one. And I used to think that because she is my boss, I need to tell her. If she asks me a question, I have to tell it to her. And I lacked the skill of kind of beating around the bush, or of being curt and setting up a boundary. So, if you have such a person or such a boss who is asking you such questions, it is your right to not say anything that you are uncomfortable saying. So, if they ask something and you don't want to answer it, just give them a generic answer. Just say, "Yeah, it's been going good." That's it, and keep quiet. Don't say anything. Let there be an uncomfortable silence. Let it be there, and let them break it. Let them handle it. You don't have to break an uncomfortable silence. And you don't always have to be nice. Like, we have this habit of we always have to be nice. You don't have to be nice, but you don't have to be rude. There's a middle ground, okay? And that middle ground is called self-care. You have to set up your boundaries and care for yourself, where you're not uncomfortable and you are not like disclosing too much information, and where you are super comfortable. There is a space between that. You don't have to swing to the extremes. So you can stay in that safe place where if you are comfortable, you can share whatever you want to share. But if you are not comfortable, you don't have to share anything. It's not required. If it's not work related, you don't have to share it. So yeah. Okay, then I would say, if you are in a narcissistic team with a narcissistic boss, uh, or if your team or your boss is narcissistic, and if you have the option, if you have the liberty of changing this job, changing this scenario that you are in, I would say take that opportunity. Just take it, because there are better teams out there. There are better bosses out there. If you're in a narcissistic company, which is like driving everyone in the company insane, and we know like the software companies we are talking about, but I don't want to name them. But there are so many articles in the newspaper about such companies. And if you are in one of those companies, there are so many other companies out there. So take, if it's like an opportunity, I would say take it. But yeah, the final decision is of course always yours. So I would say you don't have to torture yourself, like life is good without torture. So if you have the chance, take the chance, be happy in life. So yeah, if you cannot, because I know a lot of people, it's not so easy to change jobs. You might have some personal reasons, or you just don't want to change your job. So I mean, whatever your reasons are, if you cannot change, then I would say you just have to bite the bullet. Okay, and when you bite the bullet, you can make some adjustments to make it easy. So the one thing I used to do is, I had a narcissistic co-worker, and I think that person was a covert narcissist, and he was very good at stealing ideas. And because I was young and it was my first job, I was not so cautious with my ideas. So I would if I had an innovative idea, I would say it out. And one of the ideas, I actually had a prototype on it, and that person kind of made it look as if it's his idea. He started mentoring me, and slowly he took over the project. So it was actually me and another guy, and we both were new in this in the software industry or the corporate structure. So we did not know that these are the things that happen here. So basically, he showed it as his idea, although it was actually my idea, and my friend started working on it with me. So yeah, basically such things happen in corporate environments. So then what do you do? Okay, after that I learned a lot. What do you do to avoid such situations? So the first thing you do is, when you have such an idea and you're working on a prototype, and maybe you have a coworker who's narcissistic, or you have a boss who's narcissistic. So if you feel like your boss will steal your thunder and take credit for this idea, or if you feel your coworker will do it, then what I would suggest is, work on your idea on yourself in your own time, get it sketched out to a good degree, and then just send out an email about this idea, and CC your boss on it, CC your team on it, and send it to your boss's boss. Okay, if you know your boss is a narcissistic person, you have to reach out across teams, because not the entire organization is going to be narcissistic. Okay, the entire org is not going to be full of narcissists. That's just not possible. There are going to be people who are not so much on the malignant side of the narcissistic spectrum, and who are creative and who are encouraging of innovative ideas. So what you have to do is, you have to reach out to the right audience. Okay, so you have to figure your way out. You have to be a little more outgoing and kind of look for opportunities. If you realize that your boss and your team is a narcissist, you have to go out there. So it's a little bit extra effort, but if you really want to stay in the job, you want to get promotion, you want to get recognition even after being an empath in an org, or being near narcissist, it's not impossible, it's possible. You just have to make some extra efforts, and you have to know what you're dealing with. So reach out to those teams, send it out to those teams. If you have an innovative like some research lab kind of a place in your org, you have to reach out. Basically, you have to kind of make your own avenues, because although your boss is supposed to give you those avenues, because you have a narcissistic boss, you might have to do that job yourself. It's kind of like when you have a narcissistic parent, you have to raise yourself. So it's the same way. If you have a narcissistic boss, you have to find someone else. Also, like, if you find someone who's good in your organization, whom you really have identified as, this is someone like, I want to be like this person, why don't you make them your mentor? Okay, you can make them your mentor. It doesn't have to be like an on paper manager relationship, but you can make them an unofficial mentor. So you can sit with them maybe bi-weekly and discuss ideas with them, learn from them, and because they are not narcissistic, you will get that good energy supply in your workplace. So yeah, make them your mentors. Yeah, so the next point is, if you are in such a situation and you have no desire for a promotion or an upgrade, you just want to keep the job, you don't care about anything, you just want to get the paycheck, because and you have other things on the side, so you want to create a balance between work and life. So basically, if that is your idea, then I would say simply ignore, ignore the narcissistic boss, ignore the narcissistic team. All you have to do is, you have to keep your job. So do your duty, go to office, do your work, have nice lunch, and you can find, again, as I told in the previous point, if how you can find mentor, similarly you can also find friends who are outside your team. You don't always have to be like gelled in with the team, because overall you are also in a bigger org. So you can find people who have similar interests in you, interests similar to you, Maybe you can reach out to HR and start a book club, or start a tennis club, or start a board games club, or whatever you are interested in. You can reach out to someone in HR and ask them, can I do something like this? You can put up flyers in your office, and some people might reply to them, and so you can start forming your own tribe, like that. And yeah, so you can get some good energy, some feel good, some friendship, some like sharing of emotions from that tribe. You don't always have to be confined to just your team. So yeah. And then another point I would like to say is, if you are in an office situation, and many times this happens, like especially in software, because you have a lot of technical discussion, and narcissists get very offended if they are discussing like an architecture or something like that, or their ideas, and you have an idea. As an empath or as a non narcissist in the team, they will know you. They will know that this is the weaker link, or I mean, in their mind, you are the weaker link, although you're not weak, but they will feel that, oh, I can beat this guy, because they live in that attitude. They just want to win, at everything, survival. So they are very survival based, like animalistic people. They cannot work together. So, anyways, so if you have an opinion on such a person who's a narcissistic person, and they are discussing like an architecture or something like that, something technical, and you have some input in that, what I would say is, you can email it to a bigger list. Okay, always to a bigger list. Always have an audience for your idea. Don't do it simply with the narcissist, because sometimes they will diss you on your idea and then they will take your idea and show that as if it's theirs. So you have to learn from this mistake. You always have to keep a wide audience, and I would say always keep things on paper. But if it happens that you are in a meeting or in a big meeting and you have an idea, don't feel that you cannot express it, okay? Because you might feel that thing that, oh, if I say something, this person is going to react in a certain way. Let them react. Let them react. That's their weakness. That's their ego flaring up. So don't feel that you are the one who is on the spot. It's not you. You are giving a suggestion. They are on the spot. Okay, because you have just given them a suggestion on a technical discussion, and that's how things work. They work through collaboration, but they might take it very personally, and they might get angry, and when they get angry, they might actually cross question you, or they might diss your answer. Okay, when that happens, first of all, know that that will happen. Okay, when you ask a question, don't expect that they would say, oh, what a brilliant suggestion, and they will take it right away, because they won't. They are narcissistic, so they won't. So what they will do is they will cross question you on your suggestion, and they will diss your suggestion. Okay, if that happens, don't back down, because you believed in your suggestion, and most probably the diss that they gave you will not be a logical diss. It will be like something very instinctive for them to suddenly snap back at you. So when that happens, take the diss. Okay, just listen to it, let it go, and still persist on your question and keep on asking them. Okay, and when you ask them, don't ask them to irritate them. Ask them logical, statistical facts, okay, or technical facts. If you know something to be technically true, ask it. Ask it with all your confidence, and let them reply, and keep on continuing the argument or the discussion. For them, it's an argument. You take it as a discussion, okay? Take it as arguing with a 5-year-old who's going to get very angry because you're arguing with them. But you are an adult, you know the reasons, so you have to keep arguing with the 5-year-old till he or she gets the point, okay? So let them get angry. Also, something very what happens is, when a person is angry, the blood flow to the logical part of their mind, it stops. Okay, it only goes to the emotional part of the mind. So when you ask them such logical fact based questions, it will, because they are trying to answer in a public forum, they will have to answer you, and their body will actually start the blood flow to the logical part of their brain. And when that happens, the emotions will go down. So you have to persist at it, because I have seen this, and it used to happen with me. I used to give a lot of suggestions, and they were dissed, and I did not continue on it. And I used to keep feeling that no, I gave a good suggestion, and then I would see that after 5 months they would have done the thing that I suggested, but I never got the credit for it because of my attitude. Because people see attitude in such places. In offices, no one is going to pay attention to everyone around them all the time. So what happens is, the more confident people, the more aggressive people, they shine up, because the more subtle you are, the more calm you are, you kind of blend in. You don't stand out. So it's okay, we don't have to be aggressive, but we can have a quiet confidence. If we really believe in something, we can be quiet, but we can be confident. We don't have to shout it off the rooftops, because truth, even if you whisper truth, it will stay the truth. And even if you yell out lies, they are not going to change, they are not going to become the truth. But the truth is always going to remain the truth. So if you know what you're saying makes sense and is logical, then say it with all your conviction. Do not care what people are going to think, do not care what this narcissist is going to reply to your suggestion. Just say it. So I also have another video on healing your throat chakra. So this is also related to that, because in the workplace, empaths often get put down by narcissists, and so we stop expressing our opinions, our ideas, and we have a lot of ideas, but we keep it within us. So that is also another blockage of the throat chakra. So yeah, these were my points. And if you are working in a narcissistic environment, in the office, surviving it, or thriving in it, so I would say please do comment and give your tips and your ideas, so that people who see this video can also read the comments and get some more ideas. Yep, so that was my video on how to deal with narcissistic people in a workplace. I hope this helps you. I wish you all a lot of love and a lot of light. Bye.